So for years, I thought it was something truly wrong with me because I could lose weight like in a pinch, but I never could keep it off. I'd lose the same 10 to 15 pounds and I'd start to feel good about myself. Clothes will start to feel better and then it'll slowly creep right on back up. It wasn't until I could understand the why that kept happening, like that same 10 to 15 pounds, why I kept losing it and why I kept coming back. Losing the same 10 to 15 pounds over and over again isn't a motivational problem. It's a system problem. And today I want to explain to you guys exactly what that means and how to get you unstuck from this loop, because essentially we are on this mountain of weight loss and we keep going around over and over and over again. And who am I to speak on this topic? I'm just a girl who lost the same 10 to 15 pounds over and over and over and over and over again. It's such a flex to say like, oh, I lost 70 pounds. But one of the realest flexes is being able to keep it off. And like I said, if you are a victim of gaining and losing that same 10 to 15 pounds over and over again, this video is for you. Okay, so let's be real and let's call a thing a thing. I'm not speaking from a place to where I'm trying to be mean, but I'm trying to speak from a place to where you have to be real with yourself. If you are constantly gaining and losing the same 10 to 15 pounds, you are more than capable of losing the weight. It is just you have gotten to a space to where you have created essentially a pattern, a loop to where you need to get yourself out of, because you know how to lose the 10 pounds, but how can you maintain the 10 pounds if that's all you want to lose? But even if you want to lose more, how do you keep going without creeping that scale back up? So the cycle looks something like this. We really run on this thing called motivation. So I get this burst of energy. Oh yes, I'm about to go on a diet. I'm about to be in a thong bikini this summer. That is the thing right now. Lots of people are talking about they're going to be in a yellow thong bikini this summer and they are motivated, going full force for summer, which I think summer is a good thing to keep you motivated to lose weight, because I don't know about y'all, but as a person who grew up overweight and it was always my mission to just feel comfortable in my skin, it would always get to a point to where the weather began to break and I would just be like, damn, I didn't do it this time. I kid you not. I remember times of talking to my friend and I'm just like, it's hot outside and the body is not ready. And the thing is, then I'll get to the point to where I'm like, all right, I got to work out. I'm trying to rush before it's actually officially summer and I need to lose the weight. So that cycle looks like, all right, let me lock in. Let me lose the weight. Then you start to like, all right, I see the scale moving. I lost 5 pounds this week, y'all. I lost another 5 pounds. Then you get comfortable. You're like, all right, I'm feeling skinty. You get to a point to where you're like, okay, I'm feeling skinny. But then you get to a point where you just become ever so slightly relaxed and you slowly start to regain. And there's nothing wrong with gaining weight, but if you truly want to get out of this cycle, you have to really realize what is the problem and what are you doing to keep backtracking like this. And the thing is, sometimes it's not abrupt. It's not like, all right, I've been down 10 pounds. Let me just hop on the scale. I'm up 10 pounds. It happens I gain a pound here, gain a pound there, and it happens ever so slightly and it happens quietly. It's never truly dramatic. The only time you might see a dramatic jump is if you have a bunch of salt or you may be, coming on your period. That's the only time you'll see a dramatic jump in the scale. But when it comes to gaining weight, it usually happens very slow. And most people don't necessarily quit. It's not that they have quit their, routine and new habits. They just got a little bit too relaxed and forgot the mission that they were on. Why this happens at the core and why this truly slowly starts to creep back up is because most people rely on motivation. I just told you there is a big push for getting fit for summer. So say you get fit for summer, say you lose the 30 pounds or 20 pounds for summer, but when summer is over, where's that motivation? It's like, okay, it's wintertime, I can hibernate. And the crazy thing that you guys may not know, summer bodies are actually made in the winter. So after summer is not necessarily the time to fall off. It's honestly the time to reassess and lock back in. So weight loss that relies on motivation is seasonal. Motivation can only be at the first half of the month, especially if you're a woman. We go through these different phases and different hormones. It's hard to be motivated 24/7. It just is. And I'm just being real. And this is coming from a person who's been able to keep 70 pounds off. I'm not motivated every day. I'm not. Another thing that is easy to lose, that first initial 10 to 15 pounds is those temporary hard rules that knocks off the water weight very quick. You cut the carbs or you eat less, but that's not something that is sustainable for your lifestyle. If you're a person who likes carbs, figure out how you can have the carbs and still lose the weight. Figure out how many carbs you're supposed to be eating. The thing is, restriction is always going to be the hardest way, because the more you restrict something, it may be okay in the beginning. It may be okay for those first 21 days. But guess what? When life hits you, it is so easy to go back into a downward spiral and get right back to the bad habits that got you there in the first place. And I'm not going to say bad habits. I'm going to say relaxed habits, because when it comes to weight loss, you can't truly have, that all or nothing attitude, because that's not sustainable. That may work for that initial 10 to 15 pounds. But if you want to push past that 10 to 15 pounds, you have to learn to make real sustainable change. So one of the real issues is it's really a situation of defaults versus effort. Everyone has these default behaviors that, you kind of just fall back into. Oh, I'm gonna have a little snack here. I'm gonna have a little snack there. Oh, I'm gonna have a little cheat meal here. I'm gonna have a cheat meal there. Oh, I'm gonna skip the gym today. I'm gonna go out for drinks with my friends. Everybody has those default behaviors. Whether yours looks like that, because that's kind of what mine looks like, or yours looks like something totally different. We all have these behaviors because we're human and we want to live life. And it's so fun and it can look so aesthetically pleasing and it can be so aspirational to be on discipline 24/7, especially in the beginning. You've seen that video where the girl had her little green juice. She was just shaking her green juice to let everybody know she on a diet. Like, that can feel good in the beginning because you're getting that external validation from other people. But when life hits you, you're going to revert back to your same old ways. So you do need to figure out how to put in the effort to create new default habits that support the lifestyle and the goals that you're trying to achieve. Your default behavior and habits decides your weight, and it's not necessarily your discipline, because you can be disciplined for 1 month, you can be disciplined for 2 months, but the moment you get back in that previous behavior, that weight's coming back. And I don't know what to tell you, but you have to figure out how to have a new way of living your life. That shift happens when you create new, calm, and sustainable tactics for yourself. I can't count how many times people have asked me, oh, what did you do to lose weight? How did you lose weight? How did you make it stick? And the answer is quite simple, and people don't like to hear it. And honestly, you know exactly what you need to do to lose weight because you've done it before. If you're watching this video, you've done it before. You're just trying to make a sustainable change. It may just look very calm, very predictable, almost boring. And you literally just need to do the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm not saying you don't make the same thing over and over again enjoyable for yourself. That's the thing. I think when people think weight loss, they think,
oh, I'm not going to be able to have any fun foods. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to do that.
So they automatically go to restriction instead of trying to figure out how to make what they like already work inside their new life. And I would definitely say weight loss is as simple as calories in, calories out. And I think the thing that people automatically jump to is always, oh, I need to work out. I need to get in the gym. That'll be nice. It's good for your heart health. It's good to, tone and shape your body up. But the real culprit is the food. Losing the same 10 to 15 pounds is actually just like a symptom of a much deeper rooted problem that you have to work out within to see the results externally. If you guys watched my channel from the beginning, maybe like a year and a half ago, I was really talking about my weight loss process online. And I was just talking about how emotional this journey was. But that's what people don't realize. People don't realize how woo-woo, how spiritual this journey actually is. And I found myself even over the Christmas break getting into a spirit or a space of being very gluttonous. And I think it's easy to do that throughout the holiday, but I think there is a spirit of gluttonous over my family. No offense, because the habits and things that I have picked up throughout life is just straight gluttony. And the moment that I broke that cycle of being gluttonous, I stopped having that emotional, almost like tie to food. Now, in the beginning, I didn't think of myself as being gluttonous. This is something that actually just came up at the tail end of last year of me just kind of thinking full circle. But weight loss is so freaking deep rooted and spiritual and a lot of inner work that you have to do. And I know I just jumped really spiritual, but let's talk about some of the work that has to go within to make this journey sustainable for you. I know that part got really deep, but there is a lot of deeper work that has to go like hand in hand with this process. I know we say calories in, calories out. You just need to work out. You need to eat less than what you're intaking. But what is the reason that you're eating so much food in the first place? What is the reason that you keep going back to these habits that aren't serving you? That is the kind of deeper work that you have to start to look into. And I actually found some great prompts using ChatGPT to help with doing some of this like shadow or inner work like around the weight loss piece. So if you guys are interested in some of the prompts that I use to help me do some of that inner work around like the weight loss piece, let me know. I can do a video and share some of my prompts that work for that. But you have to learn to shift your identity, because guess what? The version of yourself that you're trying to be isn't going to keep losing the same to 15 pounds. Your higher self wants to be at a certain place, and the version of yourself that you are right now can't come with her to ascend to that level. Essentially, you have to break the cycle, you have to break the habits, and you have to build new rhythms and routines with yourself. And that will help you shape the new identity that you are trying to achieve and help essentially learn to build trust within yourself, trust around really trusting yourself. Can I actually do this? And the biggest piece is like creating food safety. And that sounds very heavy and very extreme, but it is so real. I used to overthink food so much. I'm like, oh, I can't eat fruit because fruit is still high in sugar. Fruit is better than McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, and all that stuff. Learn to feel safe around food. Something that I had to do, and this isn't from a place of restriction, but a place of like rewiring. I truly had to learn to figure out healthy swaps for the things that I already like. I do have a video on my channel that I will link here from where I can talk about some of the healthy swaps that I like. But I had to learn to make healthy swaps, to keep around and keep handy, and to just kind of reframe how I'm thinking about food. Another thing that I didn't bring my leftovers home because I didn't have self-control around food. That might be crazy to say out loud, but I kid you not. I didn't have self-control around food. If we went out to eat, I was eating my leftovers the same night. And I honestly think that's why it's important to do that inner work piece around it, because I think that actually comes from childhood. So it was almost like I was approaching food from a place of like a scarcity mindset, like that there will never be enough. I will never have good food like this ever again in life. And that's just not true. There is an abundant amount of food, and If you are on a weight loss journey, 9 times out of 10, you've had good food in your life, and you can go through a season to where you need to do the inner work and need to rewire how you think about food, how you approach food, and stop trying to jump on every new fad and every new diet. I know people do no carbs, vegetarian, paleo, and while those diets do have benefits for you, do what's going to be sustainable for you. Something that actually worked for me is just simply eating less food, and your body will adjust. It will be hard in the beginning to not eat these double, triple, quadruple portions that you're used to eating. But I'm telling you, the more you do it, your stomach will get used to eating that smaller portion. And if you continue to push past it, that's what stretches your stomach out. If I eat more than I'm used to eating now, I feel uncomfortable. That's an identity shift that I had to make. I was used to eating to the point to where I was stuffed, where I was full. I had to create a new identity to where that did not feel comfortable to me. So I had to stop doing that. And I did that through crazy tactics, not gonna lie to you. Threw my food away, didn't bring the food in the house. If I wanted a certain kind of food and I didn't want to bring it home, I would have that food outside of the house. That may seem extreme, but those are the measures that I had to go to and create boundaries with myself, to create that self-trust with myself. We had the ice cream. It was good, but we don't have to always have ice cream at the house. You have to learn to create some healthy and sustainable boundaries around yourself. And that can look extreme to some people, but hey, you got to do what works for you to make it work for you, because everybody online, like the tactics and stuff they do, it may just not work. People make eating healthy look like it's so freaking easy. You don't know what these people battle emotionally. You don't know what these people take on the daily basis, whether they take a GLP-1 or whether they take some sort of ADHD medicine or antidepressant. I think the truest keyest concept, I probably didn't say that right, but you know what to do because you've done it before. You have proven to yourself that you can lose 10 pounds. Now prove to yourself that you can keep it off. What do you have to do to maintain that? And that comes from really rewiring the brain, learning to make that mindset shift. My healthiest self doesn't do X, Y, and Z. My healthiest self does this instead. My healthiest self loves these kind of snacks. Just learn to rewire, your brain, and learn to build that trust within yourself, and learn to really create a sense of safety around food, because I'm telling y'all, once you get that food together, it's all going to come together. And this is why this is going to be your last time starting over. You guys are going to get some real tangible tips throughout this series to help you make this stick. Because I guarantee you, it feels so good to not have to be chasing weight loss. It feels so good to approach my day of not thinking like, oh, I can't have this because of this, when I have now learned how to eat, how to feel safe around food, how to have healthy swaps, how to have fun, how to go out and have pizza and just get back to my regular scheduled program. None of that, oh, I'm gonna start over Monday. No, I'm gonna start over same day. I'm gonna go have pizza for lunch, and guess what? For dinner, we're gonna have our regular dinner, our protein, carb, and veggie. Just get back to the regular schedule program. Don't make it a big event when you do something bad. And it's not bad. You just had a little bit of fun. You just got relaxed. But don't get into the habit of staying too relaxed, because when you stay in that habit of being too relaxed, that's when we see the scales start to creep and creep and creep back on up. I just want to end this on, you're not broken, babe. You are predictable. You have a few predictable behaviors that you need to figure out and get on the road to change them. We still have, I think, 133 days till summer. So if summer is your big goal, it only takes 21 days to build a new habit. And it is as simple as get back on track, get back to your regular schedule program. But you do have to figure out the things that are keeping you astray from that. You got to get to a place where you can actually dig deep and be real with yourself. Like, yeah, I do this too much. I don't need to do this many times a week. And that's what separates the version of yourself that you are now to the version of yourself that you're trying to be. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any suggestions or any questions for videos within this series of This Is Your Last Time Starting Over, let me know down in the comments below, and I will chat with you guys later.